Excuse me, sir.
Please come.
May I come in, sir?
Please come.
Good
Please sit
morning,
down.
sir. Good morning, sir.
Please sit
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
What's your name?
So my name is Nithila Priyanthi, sir.
Sit, relax. Let your back touch the
Thank
back
you,
of
sir.
the. Unbutton your coat. Unbutton coat. Sit relaxed.
Yes.
There also, when you go, kindly sit like this only.
Sure,
Okay.
sir. Sure. Thank
Okay.
you, sir.
So we'll start. Please tell us about yourself.
Yes. Sir, I'm Nithila Priyanthi. I come from the port town of Tuticorin. I have completed my MBBS from Government Tirunelveli Medical College in 2021. Since then, I have been preparing for UPSC Civil Services examination, sir. This is my second attempt and first interview, sir.
Why from medical to IAS? And if you were to do IAS only, then why do medical? You could have done a normal graduation. Don't you think you are wasting a seat also for some deserving candidates?
Sir, the idea of entering into civil services came to me very lately, sir. It was during the years of my internship when I was working during the COVID pandemic.
No, but you don't want to pursue the medical career.
Yes, sir.
Why learn it then? Yeah.
Yes. So actually, before I entered into medicine, when I was giving my board exams, I was really not prepared as to which career I'd be choosing. All my focus was to give my board exams in a perfect manner. Since I got a decent marks, I was able to make it to a government medical college in my state. So after that, only after entering into medicine, the idea really dawned into me, sir.
No, you're again saying the same thing. I am saying these are two different things. Why not pursue the medical career? And second is, why do you want to join the civil services?
Yes. So I
First answer my first part of the question, please.
Okay, sir. So I decided to go into civil services from medicine. That is, I did not want to pursue further in my medicine because during internship, I was inspired by the civil services, sir, because I was associated with the Department of Public Health.
You are
particularly
repeating the same thing, but tell me,
Yes.
Don't you think a deserving candidate has been deprived of a seat and a seat has been wasted? A medical professional person, a doctor on whom money has been spent, whether it's yours or the government,
Yes, sir.
it's gone
Sir,
waste, and one seat has gone waste.
Sir, I do agree that the government has spent a lot in creating a medical graduate, but I believe by being in civil services, I'll be able to contribute more and
You
give
are-
back more to the government.
But there's
sir.
one doctor less for the society, country.
Yes, sir. So I feel the doctor to patient ratio is also improving, and also by being in administration, I can create a synergy between both health
Acha,
as
tell
well
me
as
now,
administration. Sir.
let's move on to your Bharatanatyam.
Yes, sir.
How many classical dances are there in India?
So the 6 classical dances are there.
Can you
as of
mention
now.
these names, please?
Yes, sir.
And tell
Sir.
me the state to which they are from.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
So Bharatanatyam from Tamil Nadu, Mohiniyattam and Kathakali from Kerala, and Kathak from UP, and from Satriya dance from Assam, and Manipuri from Manipur. Odishi dance is from Odisha, and Kuchipudi from Andhra Pradesh. So these are the dances.
So what happened in Manipur? Since we talked of Manipur, there was so much of violence. What happened there?
Yes. So, what happened in Manipur recently was basically an ethnic conflict which broke out between the Kukis and the Meiteis communities. The state government was trying to deal with the illegal immigration which resulted in rampant usage of drugs across the state, and that eventually resulted in a law and order disturbance.
No,
in the
how
state.
immigration resulted into rampant use of drugs? What is the linkage?
Yes, sir. So actually, there was illegal migration across the borders, and particularly from the Myanmar, and the immigrants had close ethno-national links with the Kuki communities. So there was a demographic change which was happening in the state, and the Meiteis who were constituted, the Meiteis felt that the resources were not equally distributed among them. So that eventually resulted in a conflict, sir.
The violence is continuing.
Yes,
So
sir.
why? Any idea all these months? Why is the violence continuing?
Yes, sir, yes. So initially when the conflict broke out, the law and order situation was not okay, and there was a lag in response from the state government of Manipur. And by the time when it attained, it was also sensitized by the social media eventually, that created an uproar. And only during the later stages, the central government was able to intervene in it, sir.
No, but it
That
is continuing. I am asking you, why
Yes,
is the
sir.
violence continuing? You are not answering my question.
Sorry, sir. So the violence is continuing, but I would say it is on a declining stage, sir, because the disposal of few bodies
Thank you so
happened.
much. My colleagues will talk to you.
Thank you, sir.
Nithila,
Yes, sir.
you was external monitor for the COVID,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yes.
We have mentioned this.
Yes, sir.
So briefly tell me some major lessons we learnt from the COVID crisis.
Okay, sir. So the major lesson that I felt we learned from the pandemic was, when there is a robust public health system, we'll be able to handle any future pandemics in a better manner, sir. Then the second would be to narrow to narrow the gap between the policy and implementation. That is a major attempt. For example, had the IPHS
second.
standards.
More?
Okay, sir. So, and the third is, there are the issues like pandemics, it can be dealt only if there is a better global cooperation. So a global outreach is required, so that a greater collaboration can be attained between
But
the
you know,
countries.
the WHO
Yes, sir.
came in for a lot of criticism.
Yes, sir.
What were the factors?
Yes, sir. So the WHO was criticized during the pandemic mainly because it failed to give an alert during the initial stages of the pandemic, sir. That was a major criticism.
Could you expand this, put it in more technical term?
So regarding the preparedness about the epidemic, particularly in the developing and the underdeveloped countries, it was not alerted as it should have been. That was a major stance where WHO...
It did give some alert.
Yes, sir. It
It
did.
said that epidemic has started.
Yes, sir.
So alert has been given.
Yes, sir. But the scale at which the disease was transmitting, the matters of transmission as well as the morbidity and mortality which was associated with it, was not elaborated and researched in an in-depth manner. And hence it caused a havoc
Okay.
after the spread.
Now, World Health Organization
Yes.
has lost its influence over the last several decades. We saw that in the COVID time.
Yes.
Why is it? Any idea you have?
So I feel there are few issues that WHO should combat with in order to remain a global health assembly. So the first is insufficient research and development, sir, particularly for the zoonotic diseases which are emerging. So that is being ramped up in a very slow manner, I would say. For example, the antimicrobial resistance, it has been a problem for a very long decade, but only recently WHO has evolved the guidelines about it.
What else?
Yes, sir. Sorry, sir.
What else? What are the reasons?
Yes, sir, yes. So the second is, there are some parallel organization. For example, like Gavi was the Vaccine Alliance, and there are NGOs like Bill and Melinda Gates organization. They seem to have a more region-oriented approach when compared to WHO, which is more of a generalist, which has a more generalist kind of approach. So, and the third, there is also a dearth of funds, which is being mostly contributed by the member countries. That is another one attempt by which they are unable to carry out the reforms in the
Anything to do
institutions.
with global politics, growing role of China, hold of China over WHO in the last decade? Anything like that?
Sorry, sir, like right now I'm unable to
You are not.
recollect
Okay.
it.
Now, last question I'll ask you.
Yes, sir.
You are a woman.
Yes,
Now, reservation bill was passed,
Yes, sir.
but only 33% reservation.
Yes, sir.
How do we increase the pool of more and more women taking part in politics so that they can get into electoral politics?
Okay, sir.
What can be done? Because political parties are very reluctant to put women in position of power.
Yes.
What can be done?
So the recent 33% reservation has been a step in right direction, but when it has to be increased to a greater extent, then I feel it should begin from the inner party democracy and the inner party reforms. There are certain issues like a criminalization of politics, which is on an increasing trend. The second is about the electoral funding. Since women do not have financial independence, they may find it difficult to contest in the elections. So they should begin from a bottom-up approach also, sir, such as getting more women into the Panchayati Raj institutions, where they are entrusted with the real power and decision-making capabilities.
But you have 50% reservation in almost all states at Panchayati
Yes,
Raj.
sir. Yes.
Here you have only 33%. What do you do to make more and more women sit in important position?
Yes. So apart from these two reasons, there's also a need to break the glass ceiling, sir. I mean the patriarchal mentality, I would say, that should also be tackled with in order to.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Miss Nithila,
Yes, sir.
you are from Tuticorin.
Yes, sir. I am.
There was a Tuticorin KKS ferry service.
Sorry, sir.
Tuticorin KKS ferry service. You know what KKS stands for?
Sorry, sir.
Kanke Santurai in Jaffna.
Okay, sir. Still, Tuticorin to Sri Lanka ferry
Yes,
service.
yes.
Yes, sir. It was.
What happened to it?
Yes. So it was actually a passenger ship was actually planned. Passenger cruise was planned between Tuticorin and Sri Lanka in order to enhance the tourism potential of both the countries. But eventually it was stopped in the midway.
Why?
Citing, sir, the best of reasons I could remember was political reasons, sir. But I had to read more about it, sir.
Okay. There was an earlier boat mail service. Again, Tuticorin was involved. Madras, Colombo, via Tuticorin.
Madras. Boat mails.
Yes, boat mail.
Sorry, sir. I have to read about
You're not
it.
aware of this.
Yeah.
And the very recent
Yes.
2023. Another service which involves between Nagapattinam and KKS. KKS again, Kanke Santurai. Are you aware of this?
So
New
I have
ferry
to
service.
So I have to read about the ferry services, sir.
Just
I'm-
last year.
Yes, I should have known about it, sir. I did not. I'll definitely read about it, sir.
You know, recently, sorry, Tamil Nadu government issued an order setting up a fact check unit.
Yes, sir.
Are you
yes.
aware of this?
Yes, sir. Yes.
What was the purpose?
So the government decided to establish a fact-checking unit in order to check the information that is being disseminated through the media, social media.
Information
as
on
well as
what?
About the government functioning, sir.
Okay. Is it constitutional?
So it came under criticisms because it had an executive overreach. So that was one of the major drawbacks with the independent commission that was envisaged to be set up by the
So
Tamil.
what is your view?
So I feel that definitely a commission is required in order to counter the misinformation because it affects the choice of the people to make informed decisions. But then it should also be in such a manner that there should be no executive overreach in it. So that could be an ideal way by which we ensure a balance.
So if it is not the executive, who else will oversee?
So it could be for example, the appointment to the fact-checking unit. It can be done in a more collaborative manner by taking the views of the opposition and the parliament also through a greater deliberation. For example, the leader of the opposition can also be involved in appointment of the leader of the chairperson of the fact-checking unit. In this manner, a greater collaboration would be there, and that would prevent the executive overreach, sir.
The state of politics in Tamil Nadu, do you think the government will have the leader of opposition involved in it?
So ideally it should have involved in it. But I think maybe after a few more deliberations, after greater deliberations in the parliament, it can eventually happen, sir.
Has the governor controversy died down?
Yes, sir. Sir.
Has it subsided? Has it died? Has it ended?
So I would say to a certain extent it has been stopped because of the Supreme Court's intervention recently. But again, few more issues are there. For example, appointment of vice chancellors to the universities, and these are certain instances which are still being deliberated
Do
about.
you think the office of the governor should be abolished now? Kerala is having a running feud, Punjab is having a running feud, Bengal is having, and they are all saying this is a redundant office.
So
What's
personally-
your view? Should it be abolished?
Yes. So personally, I feel that it is a constitutional post and it should not be abolished because in
So,
a
but what is the
parliamentary
purpose it is serving
Yes.
then now?
In a parliamentary democracy, the office of governor acts as a link between the center and the states.
But this is
that
not happening. This is what I am saying now.
So I think there are few tussles mainly because of the difference in opinions between the state and the center because of in political context. But the office of governor should also be reformed so that they maintain the
So
political
in what way?
neutrality.
Reform in what way?
So, for example, we can consider the recommendations of Sarkaria Commission and Punchi Commission. Sir.
They say what about governor's office?
So, the governor should be a person who is neutral and cut off from the politics. And secondly, he should be appointed by broad deliberations and not directly by the central government. So, and the third is
That will open a Pandora's box. Broad deliberations among whom?
sorry, sir. Like
I said broad deliberations. You said it should be appointed after broad deliberations. That is the word you used.
yes, sir.
So
yes.
broad deliberations with whom?
So, I mean, sorry, sir. Like I'll rephrase. it.
Yeah. So because it will lead to complications.
Okay.
Anyway, let's move on. Yeah. Sorry.
Ms. Nithila, what do you mean by coming of age novels?
Sir, actually it is a particular genre of fiction, sir. These genres generally deal with a protagonist who grows as the novel evolves or progresses. And it describes how the life of the protagonist is being impacted by the socio-economic and cultural changes which is happening in the society.
Why do you read only such novels? Why not ordinary novels?
So I initially began the habit of reading a long time ago. So I was initially experimenting so many different genres like adventures, magical realism and so on. But I found the novels which have these type are more meaningful and hence I resorted to choose that particular theme and go on with it. Sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Miss Nithila,
Yes, sir.
your DAF is very impressive. You won a lot of awards. Which one was the most prestigious out of these that you mentioned in your DAF?
In the DAF. Yes. So I would say the award that I won in Medzantica contest for maternal and child health.
Okay.
That
But you
was-
also won a gold medal in a national poetry contest.
Yes, sir. It was.
In Tamil or some other language?
So it was in English, sir.
Was it in English?
Yes, sir. It
And
was.
what was the poem that you wrote the poem?
Yes, sir.
What
I
was
did.
the poem about?
Sir, can I describe the theme of the
Please.
poem? Yes.
How long is it, the poem?
Yes. So it is actually 2 pages long.
But a little bit recite.
So it is about nature. The theme that was given to me was nature. So I described about a photojournalist who used to capture the events of his village long back. But then when he has won national awards by capturing the scenic beauty of his natural beauty of the place where he comes from. But then later, after so many years, when he goes back, he finds that the area is totally demolished, like it's arid, it's urbanized, and he doesn't find the aesthetic sense in it. So
What are the first 2 lines of your poem?
sorry, sir, I have to go back.
The last 2 lines? How does it end?
Sorry, sir, like I don't remember the
Forgot.
exact lines
Okay,
as of
all
now.
right. Of course, you are fond of contemplative writing, poetry.
Yes.
You write poetry?
Yes, sir.
So this is part of the same.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Now tell me, what is your assessment of the present status of India's relations with Sri Lanka?
So the as of now, the present relation is Sri Lanka is a part of neighborhood first policy, and the government is focusing more on the people to people approach. So that is the stance as of now. But it is also stressing upon the government regarding the 13th amendment that has to be passed for greater provincial autonomy in the northern and eastern provinces of Sri Lanka. So that is the approach by the government at large. Sir.
Okay. Has Sri Lanka been able to get over the financial difficulties it was experiencing?
So to a larger extent, it was able to get out of it. That was particularly by the assistance from multilateral financial institutions, as well as through bilateral loans which has been lended, lines of credit which has been extended by the countries, sir.
What about India? Do you think that we gave good assistance? What was the assistance
Yes.
we gave?
So, yes. So India did assist. India did give lines of credit to Sri Lanka. It did assist financially, and it also helped in restructuring the institutions which were present in Sri Lanka. Particularly, the welfare-centric approach was done by the government, sir.
Do you think that the China factor had something to do with Sri Lanka's economic problems?
So, to a certain extent, it did have an influence in China's economic position, because Sri Lanka's economic positions. I would correct it. China has followed this wolf-warrior diplomacy or checkbook diplomacy, where it gives unsustainable loans to the smaller nations in the Indo-Pacific, and Sri Lanka had also been a victim of it, sir.
Since you mentioned the Indo-Pacific,
Yes, sir.
what do you think is the importance of the Quad for India?
Yes. So Quad is a regional grouping, and here India is able to collaborate with like-minded countries, Japan, USA, and it is able to, through this partnership, through this like-minded partnership, they have a common vision of having a free, open, inclusive Indo-Pacific. So it becomes crucial in that aspect.
You mentioned Japan and the United States.
Yes, sir.
Is there any other member of Quad?
Australia is also a member, sir.
Did you follow Prime Minister's visit to Australia last year?
Yes, sir, I did.
Now, what is the nature of the relationship we have with Australia?
Yes. In case of Australia, the bilateral ties between India and Australia has been progressive as of now, and both are democracies and both have a similar vision about the Indo-Pacific. And also, sir, it is important from an economic perspective also, because of the trade volume between both the countries, and because of it's also crucial for the soft power diplomacy because of the diaspora, Indian diaspora that's present there.
Okay. Are you following the Israel-Hamas war?
Yes, sir, I am.
Do you think it can come to an end soon?
So I believe that to a certain extent it is on the right track. For example, recently the Supreme Court of the Israel, they had even removed the contentious judgment that has been contentious stand that has been taken. So that is one of the progressive aspects as of now. So, but greater dialogue is required, and the humanitarian.
Ms. Nithila, there is a concern
Yes.
that this conflict is escalating.
Yes.
Why do you think these fears have arisen?
Sorry, sir.
Why do you think these fears have arisen? That the conflict may be escalating?
Yes. So the conflict is actually escalating to an extent because of the humanitarian issues which are going there, and Israel has also taken a very firm stand about the Gaza, and so there seems to be a very firm stand on the part of Israel, sir. So that is one of the reasons why it seems to be escalating.
Last question.
Yes, sir.
What was the motto of the G20 presidency of India?
Sorry, sir.
What was the motto of the G20 presidency?
So it was the
One world
one world, one family,
and one future. How important do you think is this idea of oneness on the planet?
Yes. So I think it's basically taken from the Upanishads, Vasudeva Kutumbakam, that was the thing. So it is very crucial as of present, I would say, because so many issues which the present world is conflicting, for example, the climate change, pandemic, terrorism, all these have to be dealt only by a global consensus. And also the victims have majorly been the global south, of which India is aiming to be a voice of it. So that in that manner, it becomes essential to have an inclusive approach rather than isolated or fragmented one, sir.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.